Greetings, this is Tanaka Ranichinum representing Golden Cloud Network. We're here to share knowledge and experience to empower you, the viewer. And today we're going to be talking about the Zimbabwean Labour Act, which contains the Zimbabwean Labour Laws, what every employer or employee must know. So let's give a bit of a background. So the Zimbabwe Labour Act was first enacted in the year 1985, and it has since been amended a couple of times, most recently in the year 2015 and 2021. So we've classified these Zimbabwean labor laws into 5 classes, and the first class is conditions of employment. So this is what every employer or employee must know before they start working for an organization or before an individual starts working for their organization. Conditions of employment mainly touch on these 2 issues. Issue number 1 is working hours. So working hours per day per every individual are limited to 8, and working hours per week per every individual are limited to 48. And working hour time extensions call for overtime pay. So in simple terms, or in plain terms, it's not lawful for you to work for more than 8 hours a day. It's not lawful for you to work for more than 48 hours a week. And if you're working for more than 8 hours a day or 48 hours a week, then you must be paid overtime. If you're working for more than 8 hours a day or 48 hours a week without being paid overtime, it is against the law. And if something is against the law, then action can be taken to bring justice for you, the victim, in such a scenario. So that's number 1, working hours per day or per week or per year or whatever. Number 2, it has to do with the leave days. So every worker is entitled to leave days. And the law says that every worker in Zimbabwe is entitled to 21 annual leave days. So per year, you can work, 5 days a week or whatever your arrangement is. And there will come periods where there are public holidays where you don't get to work. We don't count those. But in that 365 days in a year, you are entitled to 21 annual leave days, which are not part of the public holidays or part of the weekends. And if you don't claim those 21 days, you're being taken advantage of. And it is against the law for your employer to deny you of those 21 annual leave days. This is the law, right? Besides the annual leave days, we have other leave days that are available that you are entitled to as a worker. And such leave days are, number 1, sick leave days. So if you are sick, you are entitled to 90 sick leave days on full pay. There might be circumstances or instances where your employer might refuse to pay you just because you're not coming to work because you're sick. That is against the law. You are entitled to 90 sick leave days on full pay and 90 sick leave days on half pay according to the laws in Zimbabwe. And if that's not happening, then hey, someone is taking advantage of someone and justice must be served. This is the law. Another type of leave days that is available in the country of Zimbabwe is the maternity leave days for pregnant women. And female pregnant women are entitled to 98 maternity leave days on full pay. This is the law. So another class of these Zimbabwean labor laws has to do with contract of employment. So this is what you have to know when you start working for someone. You've passed the interview, you've been given an offer letter, you're now starting to work for that company organization. These are some of the things that you have to look out for. Number 1, a contract of employment. See, a contract of employment must be put in writing within 3 months of employment. And this is why the contract of employment will, or should rather, specify your job description so that you know exactly what is expected of you. Nothing more, nothing less. Number 2, remuneration, so that you know how much you're being paid. Nothing more, nothing less. This is important. And number 3, leave days. We've touched that. And number 4, notice periods and termination conditions. Right? There might come a time where you want to part ways with your employer, or where your employer wants to part ways with you. There are certain procedures that must take place, and such procedures must include a notice period. If you want to quit, or if you are about to get fired, or if you want to fire someone, you must give them a notice period. And this notice period or termination conditions must be stated in that contract. So this is the value of having a contract of employment, and this is what the labor laws in Zimbabwe say. This is what they demand: contract of employment. Class number 3, termination of employment. This is what you need to know when you stop working for an organization, or if you want to fire someone if you're an employer. So point number 1, notice must be issued in advance, and the period of notice varies. It depends on what you have agreed on or what you have put in that contract that we mentioned before. And we also have issues of retrenchment. Retrenchment happens, but retrenchment must follow a last in, first in principle. For example, there are 2 people that were working for a company. There's Takuzo, there's Chipo. If Takuzo was the first person to come in that company, right, Takuzo must be the last person to be retrenched. And this is according to the law. So if Chipo was the last one to come in, then Chipo has to be the first one to go according to the law when it comes to retrenchment. And each and every retrenchment done must come with a package. You cannot leave empty-handed if you are retrenched. There has to be a package, something of monetary value that is handed to you on your way out, because it's not really, when it comes to retrenchment, it won't be your fault. It'll be just because of circumstances that are, that are prevailing in that moment of time, right? And also, besides retrenchment, people leave because of dismissal. People might be fired, and dismissal must follow a fair procedure, which includes hearing. Your employer cannot just say, get out, get out, get out, like you're a dog. No, it doesn't work like that. There has to be a procedure, and that procedure must include hearings. They have to sit down with you and, lay out the reasons why they're letting you go, so that you can go with dignity, and this is part of the Zimbabwean Labour Act. This is the law. You cannot just be thrown out of a company without a proper procedure, right? And then class number 4, dispute resolution. So dispute resolutions are handled according to the law. They're handled through conciliation, arbitration, labor court, or employment councils. So let's break those down. So conciliation involves an internal neutral third party. Let's say you have disagreed with someone within your company on a certain matter. If you want to resolve that dispute, you can call a neutral third party who is within that company to solve the issue, to resolve the dispute. That's conciliation. Arbitration is when you invite someone who's external, someone who doesn't even work for that organization, to come and help resolve that dispute that is going on between 2 people within a company. If that doesn't work, that's when you have to go to labor court, where, hey, we've tried calling neutral third parties within the company and outside the company, still doesn't work. We're still at odds with each other. That's when you can take them to court. That's where labor court comes in, and this involves national judiciary bodies. So that is what the law says when it comes to dispute resolution. And last but not least, let's talk about collective bargaining. So collective bargaining promotes formation of trade unions or employers associations, which negotiate industry-specific agreements through industry-specific employment councils. Almost every company or organization has a council associated with that organization. So this council exists for the reasons that we've just mentioned, mainly to negotiate industry-specific agreements. Let's say that as policemen, you want these changes in your field or in your world or in your industry, you can go through that council. As nurses, you want certain changes, you want more pay, you want better working conditions, you can go through your council, So this is collective bargaining. This is what the law says about collective bargaining, right? So the stated are the key labor laws. These are the major things that every employer or employee must know before they start working for their organization. And this concludes our presentation. But before we go, let's just state the main organizations or institutions rather that are responsible for enforcing these labor laws in Zimbabwe. Number one, we have the Ministry of Public Service, Labor and Social Welfare. Number two, we have the National Employment Council, which is industry specific. Number three, we have Labor Court, and number four, we have the Zimbabwean Human Rights Commission. So this concludes our presentation on the Zimbabwe Labour Act, Zimbabwean labor laws that every employer or employee must know. We hope that you can gain one or two from this presentation. Thank you for your time. Cheers.